a Q&A. So today we're going to do a TPT Q&A. I have questions from the December coffee chat is where I told you to post your questions. I also have a couple of questions from Instagram. So we're gonna hop right on into that. I'm gonna come sit in front of the tree because I am just soaking up every second of treedom this year. But first, coffee. All right, friends, I have a white chocolate peppermint mocha in my peppermint mocha mug. I actually wasn't even gonna have peppermint mocha, but then I was like, but I have the most amazing mug. Legit, I saw that at, I think it was Marshall's, and I turned around and saw it and I was like, my husband thought I was like having a heart attack or something because I was so excited, so excited. All right, so we're gonna start with the questions on YouTube, and then if we have time, we'll go to Instagram. Just depends on how much I talk, because y'all know your girl likes to talk. That's why I don't do well on Twitter. But anyway, so on the video, I have some questions. Digital Math Classroom says, all about getting a business license. Do you need one from the start? Why isn't it mentioned in TPT Q&A page or anywhere? I do not know why it's not mentioned in the TPT Q&A because I don't have anything to do with that, but the answer would be yes. I don't know at what magical point you need to get a business license, but I would say if you are planning to make any money, get a business license, because it's just one of those things that's better to do ahead of time. So you want to register with the IRS for a EIN, employer identification number, and then usually either with your state or your county or your city, depending on where you live, is where you'll want to register. So like I had to register with Chatham County because that's the county in which I live, and you will want to do that ASAP because legally, if you're doing business, you need to have a business license. Of course, talk to someone who knows more than I do about business things. All right, and then she also had a second one, how to upload a video on a regular product preview. I have the option on bundles only. So product preview videos do not work on Google resources. At this time, they may change that at some point, but as of December 2020, they don't work on Google resources. I don't know why, and they don't work on free products. So if you have a free product or a Google resource, it won't work. If you have like a normal download or a zip or a PDF or a bundle, then it will work on those. So that would be my guess as to what the problem is. Let's see. Beautiful Teaching says, I don't know if you have this on your channel, but how do you start a blog and how do you structure the blog? So I have some blogging videos. I will link the playlist down below, and we are gonna do more next year. Also, I will be setting up my website that's associated with this YouTube, words. I will be setting up my website that's associated with this YouTube channel, and so I will be able to like actually show you step by step how to do that. I use WordPress, which I purchased through SiteGround. So SiteGround is where I've purchased my hosting, which means that they are the people who actually do the coding because I don't know how to code anything. And so then I just chose like WordPress from there, and then you can really easily just go through and like click the theme you want, and just it's kind of like a drag and drop from there. I will link SiteGround down below. I do have an affiliate link for SiteGround, so I will leave that down below, just a heads up. If you click that one and then you purchase, I get a little bit of money, not a lot. And if you don't, then that's fine too, because the point is to help you. And how do you structure the blog? I'm not totally sure what that means, but I usually do a blog post each week, and I always make sure to have lots of headers and just have it structured the way you would normally kind of structure something. So I might need more information about that question to help better. Okay, Nicole Paredes, I'm gonna assume, says that please help, once you set up your store, can people automatically search for your store? I can't seem to search for mine. That's actually a problem that I have run into quite a few times in coaching, where I have looked up someone's store and I haven't been able to find it, or even just on Instagram, like sometimes I'll look up your stores when you send me a message. I don't know why. I don't know if it's like just takes a while to get on there. I'm not sure of why the answer to that is, but I have also had that problem. So you'll just want to make sure that you have the link handy to give to anyone who needs it. All things music. A music teacher. Hi Becca, your videos are really inspiring. Thank you. I put up my first product November 1st. I can really see the difference in quality of my work the more I do. Would it be a good idea to go back and make my first free product a better quality? Yes, it would be a good idea. I have not done this because I'm lazy, but that's probably something I should do. Yes, I would suggest that if you see a big thing and if you just think it might be a good option for you. Secondly, I am working towards the first 50 products and pinning consistently. Do I need to start my blog as well? Seems like so much in the beginning. Really looking forward to your opinion. Thanks. You're welcome. So my personal opinion is that content marketing is the magical key that everyone should be doing to help with your store. So that means either a blog or a YouTube or a podcast. However, those things are a lot of work. So if you are starting your store, working on those first 50 products, then those first 50 products should really be your focus. If you think that you can handle starting a blog and doing the products at the same time, I would say go for it. But for most people, I have found it's easier to focus on products for a while till you hit that 50 and then add on the blog, just because every time you learn something new, I mean, just in anything in life, there's a learning curve. So it takes a long time to make products at first. Like your first couple products are going to take forever. And then once you get better at it, then it gets faster and faster and you learn tricks and things get easier and because you just know what you're doing. The same thing with blogging. Blogging or YouTube is a whole thing in and of itself. It's 100% worth it and I recommend it to everyone. However, it is a lot. So if you just have the time and want to, then go for it. But if you think it might be a little too much, I would say hit 50 and then start working on your product. Because same thing with blogs, I can turn out a blog post really quickly now because I've been doing it for years. So that's not something that's super stressful and takes me a long time. But when I was first starting, I had no idea how to do anything. I also didn't have internet at my house, so there was that. Okay, next question is from Claire Odom. It says, how do you start your email list? How do you get people to sign up for it? I've watched a couple of your videos about email lists and now I'm sold and my dog's now, she's just making all the noise today, but I'm tired, so I'm just gonna ignore her. So I apologize if you hear scratching in the back. How do I get emails? I have a blog, but not many people read it, and I have a healthy Instagram. Is there a way I can use Instagram to get emails from people? Yes. So to start your email list, I will link the email playlist down below because we talked a lot about that. But basically what you need is you need an email service provider. So I use MailChimp. It is free until you hit 1,000 people, I want to say. I've used it for years. I now have lots and lots of people and it has served me well. So you want to have your email service provider, and then you need to make a landing page, which is the page where people go to put their email in. So you just do that and then you'll get a link, and that link is what you will post places. So in my blog, I will post the link to that, and I have freebies associated with mine. So when you join my email list, then you get freebies, which is what entices people to join your email list, because nobody just wants more emails. And so I will say in my blog, I'm like, hey, by the way, if you want to get this free resource, and I always make it really specific, this thing you can get free, then you can click here to get it for free. And then I'll put the link there. So in my Instagram, I use Linktree, which is a website that basically just helps you to send people different places. And so when you, actually I can show you. My link in my Instagram bio is to Linktree. When you open up Linktree, it'll look kind of like this. And then you can put all of the links that you want people to be able to click on there. So when I have a new blog post, I just say click the link in my bio to see my blog. When I have a new product, I say click the link in my bio to go to my Teachers Pay Teachers store, and it just makes life easier. And you'll see I have one this is my Bible class one. It says, click here for a free set of sword drills. That's my email list. But I put it that way because no one's gonna click on there and be like, oh yes, I would love to get more emails. But they will click on it for a free game. So get that landing page link, post it in your blog, every single blog, talk about it on your Instagram and put it in your link tree, and I just talk about it. And again, if you have those freebies, then you can just talk about the freebies. So every once in a while I'll post a picture on Instagram and be like, hey look, you can get this free and it's really fun, click the link in my bio. And that's how you get people on your email list. It does take a while, but it is so worth it. Switching over to Instagram. On Instagram, if you're not following, it is at becca.e.davis, because that's what I get for having a common name. Of course, not my fault, but that's where we are. So I have Rainy Blue Barton says, how do you plan out your YouTube content and how do you get it all done? I'm so impressed. Thank you, first of all, for being impressed. It's not that impressive. How I plan it out is at the beginning of each month, I will sit down with a calendar and I take sticky notes and I put sticky notes on each of the days that I'm going to post a video with the title of the video. I get those sticky notes from a big pile of them in my bullet journal, and just anytime I get an idea for a video, I stick it there. I find that having them all there is very helpful, and anytime that I'm like, I don't know what to do, I can go and look there. Sometimes I get questions, and so that's what I decide to post and stuff like that. But basically, I have a whole page where just anytime I get an idea, I stick it there. I pull the sticky note off and I stick it on the calendar for the days that I want to post it. I try to kind of alternate by the style of video. This might be getting way too much into it, but I try to alternate the style of videos. So some videos are more sit down, some are more vloggy, some are more tutorials. Like I try not to do 2 tutorials back to back and stuff like that, just to kind of have a variety so that people are interested in watching it. And as far as how I get it all done, this year I instituted filming Tuesdays, which literally just means on Tuesdays I film videos. And so I have just found it so helpful that I don't have to think about it, I don't have to question it. Just on Tuesdays after work is finished, I pull out my lights, I pull out my camera, and I start filming. And I just film whatever needs to be done. So I just look at my upcoming videos and I say, okay, I have these that need to be finished, these are the ones I'm gonna film today. And that is really helpful because you can usually, depending on how many times you stop and how good you are at just talking, and depending on the day, because sometimes I'm much better at talking than others, and then I can usually film at least 2 videos in that like hour chunk that I give myself, but sometimes I can get up to like 4 or 5 if I talk quickly, and my videos are short, just depending on which videos they are, how long they are, and how difficult it is for me to get the words out my mouth. Because sometimes, y'all, it's like I've never talked before. But that is how I do that. And then, you know, if I'm only posting 2 a week, but I filmed 4, that gets me ahead of the game. So that has been super helpful. When we go back to school, I am still planning to do that, but probably not on Tuesday. So I'll just pick a day, probably Wednesday, and it'll be filming Wednesdays, and I just film every single Wednesday. South Street Mom, Pinterest scheduling. I'm new to Tailwind and feeling like I'm not quite getting it, even though I've watched a bunch of YouTube videos. That's not something I can really talk about like quickly in a Q&A, but I will have a video probably in January. I feel like I keep telling you I'm gonna have videos in January. I'm gonna have a video in January where I do a Tailwind tutorial, but I just basically go in, and I'm super lazy about it, so I just go into my Pinterest and I click that little Tailwind button on the pictures of whatever I want to schedule, and then I go into Tailwind and then I click all the boards I want it to, and then I click schedule, and then I click shuffle so that you don't end up with the same thing going to lots of boards on the same day. I need a new battery. I shall be back. All right, we're back. Also, did you notice that my earrings have bells on them? My first graders were learning about percussion, and so I showed them these, and I was like, my earrings are percussion instruments, and they were like, oh. I love first graders because they're so impressed by like everything. It's hilarious. Yeah, so that's basically the gist of Tailwind scheduling. I'm not very fancy with it. Probably should be. Do you see my guard dog out there? It's the backyard. No one's out there. Don't make noises at me. Can you do a YouTube video tutorial about your YouTube setup, editing, lighting, etc.? This is from Ingrid. Yes, Ingrid, I will do a video on that. I can't do that in my Q&A, but it will come soon. And the vlog that's coming out next is centered around filming. So I talk about lighting setup and all the things. So you'll definitely want to check that one out. And then I'll do more of a proper, like, this is how I do everything video a little bit later. I wanted to get my lighting situation figured out because that's been like the goal of this fall. Once the time changed, I was like, I don't know what to do. So that has been kind of what we've been working on, but I think I've got it figured out, so I will make that soon. Also interested in Tailwind and Pinterest. Well, we've got 2 Pinterest videos down and more to come, and Tailwind will come. Okay, Kate's _ back. Oh, Kate's back, I get it. Okay, how much are you making on boom cards compared to TPT? I asked this because I've been on TPT for over a year, yet my first month on boom cards, I made much more money. Is this normal? I'm thinking of working more with boom. If that's the case, let me know your thoughts. Y'all can definitely leave your thoughts down below. I don't make a ton of money on boom cards. They're pretty easy for me to make, so I don't stress about them. I definitely don't work as hard on them as on TPT, but I think I just got a payment for like $7 and I was like, cool. So, I don't have like that many boom card decks, and so I'm still kind of figuring it out, but I don't make a ton on boom in general. I will say that if you're making things on boom cards and they're doing well, keep doing that. I would also post them on Teachers Pay Teachers. That way you are kind of feeding both stores. And yeah, but if that's working for you, keep going. Y'all, the thing about TPT and like just the whole entrepreneurship in general is that it's very different for everybody. So what's gonna work for me is not necessarily what works for you. So if something's working, go for it. And the last question is a goodie, and that's from Zoe, and it says, how do you set your goals and how do you know how to break them down? What a wonderful question to end on. That's exciting. I love goals, and we're going to talk more about goals, and we'll get really deep into all the nitty gritty and how to break down your goals and all those fun things soon. But in the meantime, I shall share with this. I set my goals in lots of different areas. So I sit down and I think, okay, what are the areas I want to grow? So like this year, so for 2021, I was like, okay, I want to grow my YouTube channel is one of the things that I want to do. I want to grow my Teachers Pay Teachers store. I want to grow my Becca's Bible class quite a bit because that was a new thing this year and stuff like that. So I usually start there with like, what are things I'm already doing that I want to grow? And then I think through how am I actually going to make that happen? So for example, for my YouTube channel, I went through and I thought through like, okay, how many subscribers do I want to have by the end of next year? Sometimes you might be assigning arbitrary numbers and like, that's fine. But I'm kind of I'm at like 3,000 subs now. So my next target, like the next thing I want to hit is 10,000. So at the moment, I'm like, I would love to hit 10,000 by the end of next year. Will that happen? Not a clue, but I would like to hit 10,000 by the end of next year, which is about 7,000, which is maybe doable. Maybe. We'll see. I'm kind of betting on the fact that as your channel gets bigger, it's easier to get more subscribers. Because going off my current rate, that would not work. So then I think through like, okay, what are some things that I can do that are going to make people want to subscribe to my YouTube channel? So I sat down and I thought through like what I could do. So my master plan for like YouTube next year is out of my 8 videos, because I do 2 a week, so it's about 8 a month. I want to make sure 2 are what I consider to be heavy hitters, which are videos that are intended for search, things that I think that people are really looking for, things that people ask me about a lot. Tutorials are good. And the way I figure those out is I look at my videos and I see what are my top videos, and anything that I see kind of correlating between them is what I consider a heavy hitter. So 2 heavy hitter, like search terms, things that people are going to find me from search in each month, because those are going to bring in new people, is having people, you know, search. The second thing is having 2 videos with the intention of taking my current subscribers a little closer. So what that means is you found me because you wanted to know how much you can make on Teachers Pay Teachers, or how to make a worksheet, or how to do move cards, or stuff like that. And then you subscribed, and maybe you're kind of like off and on, and then you saw some videos that were maybe like vlogs or Q&As or coffee chats or things like that. And those are kind of the things that bring you a little bit closer. They're not necessarily like, here's a whole bunch of really specific information that you're looking for, but it's more like getting a deeper connection and learning a little bit more. And there's still lots of stuff that we talk about in those that are really helpful, at least I hope. But the point of them is more like what, you know, the whole point is let's bring you a little closer. So basically 2 videos that are really intentionally bringing people in, and 2 videos that are bringing people closer. And then growing my email list. So the more of you I can get on my email list, the better, because then I can send emails and say, hey, by the way, new video went out. And that is also going to help, because if YouTube sees, oh, all your subscribers are watching your videos, then they'll suggest you to more people. And then making sure like my thumbnails are really good and stuff like that. So all of that to say is think through what you want, where you want to be, and what do you want to do, and then you just got to break it down. So this is especially good with those money goals or like subscriber goals or things like that. If you have other things like how many products you want to make, or if you have like a big project you want to work on, those are a lot easier to break down, because then it's like, oh, I want to make this many products, that means I need to make this many a month. Easy peasy. But I find the more abstract, like I want to get more subscribers, to be harder, because I don't actually have control over that, because I'm not actually making people subscribe to me, but there are things I can do that will help. Same thing with TPT. I sat down, I looked at how much money I had made, I thought through how much money I would like to make, and then I was like, okay, how can I make that happen? For TPT specifically, I was thinking about products, but also conversion rates and traffic. So next year I am going to make some more products, but I'm not gonna make a ton because I already have like 350 something. So my focus is gonna be, yes, still creating some, but more focused on conversion rates and getting traffic. So what that means is, if you want to double your income, if you double either your conversion rate, which is how many people look at your product and buy it, or you double your traffic, then hypothetically, you should double your income. Now, it's not like a magic thing, so it doesn't necessarily work out that way, but that's kind of the idea. So if you have a product that's not converting well, if you can fix up the preview and fix up the thumbnail, then those things will help it convert better, or maybe even give the product a facelift. Those things, or you know, the description, those things will all help your conversion rate to get better, so it'll help more people to purchase. And then if you can make more traffic go towards it, so if you can write a blog post, if you can talk about it a bunch on Instagram, send your email list over there, those things will get more traffic to a product. So if your conversion rate's good, but you're still not selling it well, that's kind of where you want to look. Those are the things that I'm looking at for my products next year, is like, how can I increase my conversion rates, and then how can I create more traffic to my store? I hope that made sense. We're gonna talk more about that actually in another video coming out in the next couple of weeks, which is good. So as far as like how I set my goals, I go long term. I'm assuming you're talking mostly about like TPT and money. I go way long term, and I thought through like, okay, how much do I want to make ultimately, and at what point do I want to make that? And my goals are very, very, very pie in the sky, I want to say. Like, they're really, really a little bit obnoxious, but I kind of need that push to help me keep going. So my plan for the next 2 years is to hopefully like double and then double again. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but that's like my thought. And of course, if I don't hit that, like, it's okay and it's gonna be fine. But just to make sure that I am hitting all the things I want to hit to achieve my income goals. That's the other thing I want to say about goals before we go, is that when you think through your goals, you want to think about like the reasons behind them, especially with money, because it's really easy to be like, oh, I want to make this much money. But like, why? What is the point? Because money sitting in your bank account is not very exciting. So think through like, what do I want to do? Is it that I want to go on vacation? Is it that I want to quit my job? Is it that I want to be able to send my kids to private school? Like, what is the point? And then figure out how much you need for that, and then figure out how much you need to make for that to happen. So like for me, I have some big goals next year about paying off some debt, because if I can pay off, you know, like the car and stuff like that, then it's going to just free up a lot of space in the month. So that's like my big thing for next year. And then I want to start saving for a car, because my car is gonna be 14 years old next year. And even though like it's fine, that just makes me a little nervous. So I'm like, I want to start putting money in there so that when I need a new car, like we can get it. So those are things that I'm working towards. And then there's like other things I'm working towards long term, but that kind of gives you a number that you want to shoot for. If you don't have something you're working towards, then it's just kind of like you're pulling numbers out of a hat, which honestly is sometimes a good place to start. It's just pull a number out of a hat, say this is how much I want to make, if you're like really don't know. But I would say think through like what you want to do with the money, and then back it up that way. So that's of course related to a money goal. As far as like anything else, I feel like other goals are just things you like want to do. So like I want to play my cello more next year. That's one of my goals. And I want to eat better more of the time next year. That's one of my goals. And like things like that are just things that I want to do. So I hope I answered your question. I feel like that was super rambly. But we will talk more specifically about goals. I feel like a lot of these questions were like things that are going to be turned into entire videos. So I hope that this was at least a little bit helpful. And of course, you can always leave more questions down below and I will always answer more questions. And you can always send me a DM on Instagram and I'm in there all the time. Lots of people could tell you that because there's a lot of people that talk to me like every single day on there. So if you need, if you have more questions or if you missed the call for questions, then definitely check that out. Thank you guys so much for being here. And let's see, this video is going out on Sunday. So yesterday would have been my full focus planner video. And on Tuesday, there will be a vlog. I think that's right. I am actually really impressed that I have been able to remember my schedule off the top of my head like this. So definitely go check those out. If you haven't subscribed already, please do it so that you don't miss any of those or any of the things we mentioned that we're going to come back to. And also to help me hit my goals. I almost said Miss Davis, but I'm not at school. So that would have been a weird thing to say. Anyway, I'm going to go. Thanks so much for being here and I'll see you later. Bye.